I left the U.S. August 2nd of 2025, and it's a date I'm never going to forget. It's a pivotal day outside of my birthday, of course, my wife's birthday, our wedding, the birth of our children, right? Our first jobs, but this day is pivotal because we're trying to and moving into a space where we want flexibility, peace, and some sort of sense of security. We're not looking for utopia. We're not looking for something that's perfect. We just want to feel more valued. We want to have more options. We don't want to feel limited. We want to prevent rather than scramble. So moving abroad, um, it looked to give those options. And it's basically been a year. So I'm like, hey, just, why not talk about it? Um, but, it's one thing to have an understanding. Um, Matter of fact, let me step back. It's one thing to be blind and just think, you know, you're the shit, right? Or what you're doing is just amazing. Because bliss, ignorance is bliss, right? Like, we don't know that the cup can be full if we're just stuck on keeping it half full. You guys get what I'm saying? Like, we don't know our options unless someone puts it in front of us, directly, indirectly. So what I'm saying is, I'm giving you these stupid metaphors. What I'm trying to say is, we think that what we're doing in an environment where we grew up in is okay. Even when we're, the best and the best in our field, or we have a decent marriage, we have good and educated kids, right? We can keep a couple $1,000s in the bank. We can retire on time or early. Like, we just think everything is copacetic. And what I'm realizing is that these countries, man, they're different worlds. Yeah, there's ties to each other. But every day that I'm not in the States and I look around, and I have just a sense of purity in a lot of places. I see a sense of purity in a lot of people. Not all, but a lot of people. I see a sense of culture. Um, there's just a sense of welcoming. People being nice. It's just the energy living abroad is different. You know, it's just night and day. I look on my feed, and my wife looks on her feed, and it's just murders after murders in the States. I saw a couple days ago that a gunman was just walking around a suburb in Nevada, just shooting. People just have mental illnesses undiagnosed, high stress that can't be helped because the environment is toxic. And so there's a toxic environment that we're trying to avoid, but then there's beauty that we just haven't seen. So there's both sides to this kind of coin that makes us all like, man, this is crazy. And it's like, I feel like we didn't even get started, but man, it's been a year, you know, it's been a year. Just being able to, like, I just left the gym, I just got showered, I've just been in the sauna. I can focus on prevention. I can focus on health and activity, right? I'm not spending all day. I'm not even spending more than 5 or 10% of my day working, right? So I could just spend on focusing on myself. I can create. I have a fortified retirement plan, a fortified very early retirement plan that I can now focus on. I can focus on saving 10 to 25% of my income every month, right? I could focus on, being in different environments and meeting great local people in these countries we've been to so far, and meeting, amazing expats, right? Caucasian, uh, you know, um, African, um, people from other parts of Asia that are not specific to Thailand. That's currently where we're home based. There's just a lot of people all over this globe, man. When you start breaking down borders and just getting to know people, behind the face, behind the skin color, the mask, right, the bodysuit, like you start getting to talk to people. There are people, a lot of people, a lot of people with pure intentions on just living, making sure the kids are okay, and stretching their dollar, right, stretching their currency, just making sure we're just okay. People just want to live. And we've been rubbing shoulders with a lot of people who just want to live. I've never met so many people who don't work in my life. And it's not like people are not working and not making money or not having money and living slummy, guys. Like, I can't put it into words. It's been hard to really put into words the stuff I've heard, seen, and felt over the last year, but specifically over the last 3 to 6 months. Just been meeting a lot of people over the last 3 to 6 months, just going into 2026. It's crazy. Just people with great energy, people who feel like they have purpose, people who feel like they have clarity, people who are still searching, because there's just so many options. When you have time and when you understand topography, when you know your options, you have so many options. And it kills me that I talk to people that I know or people that I rub shoulders with in the past in the States or people that I formerly worked with in the States. And when I say you guys do not have any clue, because I didn't have any clue, like I'm not even talking about what you think you know. We have no idea. We have no idea. With the right resources, the right plan, the right timing, of course, there got to be a little favor in how you maneuver in life. Meeting the right people, of course, that always helps with the right connections. But our life can be so easy, or it can be at least much more easier than what we were told it to be. When we were told to work hard, grind forever, let's just try to make it to retirement and be frail at retirement. There's a lot of people who are not even focused on retirement, so I'm gonna slow down on that word. It's just work, work, work. You know, yeah. There's so much unseen beauty, so much unseen opportunities that we have no idea. And I'm saying we as Westerners, we as people from America. That's where I'm from, right? So just we have no idea. It's to the point where if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I feel that they can't even resonate. I feel like people out here. I know they can resonate. There's people who's been to anywhere from 15 to 50 countries that I've rubbed shoulders with, and they haven't either. They either look, and I'm gonna break it down. This is what's crazy. I met people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, and they're either fully retired the last 10 to 15 years, government retirement from wherever they're from. People who are military retired or military disabled, at least since they were in their 30s, or currently in their 30s, military retired. I've met people who are living off of investments. I've met people who've only been doing contract work, so they're only working anywhere from 3 to 6 months out of the year. Just different people who've been doing this up to decades, traveling around the globe, or at least regionally. When I say we have no idea, we have no idea how full our cup can really be. And that's where I want to kind of sum that up. Like living abroad over this last year, being to different airports, being around people who speak different languages, around people who cook different foods, around being in different environments, looking around at different trees, looking at how the water moves, looking at different mountainscapes, like just seeing all this stuff. Obviously dealing with different currencies and languages, right? All this stuff, man. I'm gonna end here because I want to keep the focus on us knowing our options, guys. I want to keep the focus on really what the U.S. has been promoting, and it's not life or the quality of it. It is not. It is not. It is not. America is meant to work. America is the land of the opportunity, and it is the land of the free. Why? Because if you can take your opportunity, you can be free somewhere else. If you can take the opportunities of America, the experience working on a job, the experience using the internet, using and keeping your passport up to date, understanding laws and obeying laws. So when you go to these countries, you're not getting deported. Go to these countries and you can stay long term, right? Finagling remote work, fully remote work, or starting investments, slow investments that take time, that take 10, 15, 20 years to build, but you can build it with consistency, not being in the States. It is the land of opportunity if you use that opportunity outside of America. I just wish I did this sooner, but I'm glad I've done this, and I move people to do it. I move you guys to do it. So living abroad is immaculate. It's the best world schooling there is. It's the best type of education there is, and I champion it. I look forward to the next year, the next place. I just can't wait. So I'll keep y'all updated.